Hey everyone, Amar here. In this video, I'd like to talk to you about a spiritual awakening I experienced recently. You could call it a non-dual awakening. It's something that happened to me about 4 or 5 days ago, and I just thought it'd be interesting for me to share my experience. Now, on this journey, you will have awakenings. They'll usually be deeper than the previous one. This is the deepest one that I've experienced, and yeah, I just think you'll always have them. I think it's quite rare that you'll just have one big awakening and everything will change. Usually there's layers to this stuff and you just have deeper and deeper awakenings. So in this awakening, which you're going to find out, I really felt like I kind of broke out of the matrix. I saw things more clearly. And yeah, I've taken some great insights. Things have changed in the way I see the world. And that's really the most important part of the video that I want to talk about. Not so much about what happened, which I'll discuss, but more so about the ramifications, the outcome of that experience. So I'm going to get straight into it. I'll give you some background into kind of how I do some of my spiritual work. So about once a month or a couple of times a month, I'll set aside a full day where I'll just meditate and read spiritual books and just do like hardcore spiritual work. And I quite look forward to these days. I don't really know what's going to happen. Sometimes, like the day just gone, I have a breakthrough. And yeah, I just want to give you the context. So I have these days once a month or once every couple of weeks where I just have nothing to do. It's usually a Sunday and I just do spiritual work. So that was what I was doing on this day. And as I'm meditating on this day, I think I was releasing a lot. I actually posted a picture on my YouTube. I might show it on here as well. And I was just crying. I can't even remember what I was crying about now. But yeah, there was a lot of release going on, right? And then I went into like a meditation. And on this meditation, I was meditating on the floor. So just like hard floor with pillows. I put pillows on my head, but the floor's hard, obviously. And I was wrestling with some thought, right? Some negative thought. It was some emotion and thought that I was trying to like overcome or integrate or accept. I don't know the best word for it. So yeah, there was some strong emotion I was feeling, right? And I was just trying to work with it. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, I started to repeat a mantra. And the mantra was, what I am cannot be diminished. What I am cannot be destroyed. What I am cannot be rejected. What I am is everywhere. I just started to say these mantras just randomly, like affirmations, and repeating them mantras and affirmations drew my attention towards what the affirmations were pointing at. So if you're saying what I am cannot be diminished, right? What I am cannot be rejected. What I am is everywhere all the time. If you keep repeating it in a deep meditation, even if it's in your mind, which is what I was doing, I wasn't doing it out loud, it'll start to draw your attention to the answer to that question, right? The answer to that question is difficult to verbalize, right? But I kept repeating these mantras. It drew my attention to something more complete, something more whole, right? That was deeper within me. And in that moment, that negative emotion I was wrestling with, I kind of became one with it, right? And I became fully integrated. And in that full integration, I felt really fully in my body, more in my body than I've ever felt in my life. And I just entered this almost like space, quiet, silent, stillness space. I don't know what else I can describe it. And I was able to stay in that space for quite a long time, 20, 25 minutes, which is the longest I've been able to go that deep for that long. And just a quick note on this, one of the keys to getting that deep, I think, is by working with the body. So a lot of the work I do, a lot of the spiritual work I do, it involves the emotions and working with the body. You've probably heard it said that the body is the subconscious mind. So a lot of your unconscious programs are running emotionally in your body, right? So when you start to bring a lot of awareness into your body, it's almost like you begin to wrestle some of that power back, okay? But it's an ongoing process. And in that moment, I felt like I wrestled enough power back that I became integrated for this period of time and accessed this depth, like the deepest I've ever been. It was really cool. And after about 20-25 minutes, a thought popped into my head, like they always do. And the thought was, this is boring, right? And in that moment, I lost it. And in that moment, the negativity came flooding back, right? Just through that thought that this is boring. And it's like I just opened the doors, I lost it, right? Obviously, it wasn't boring. My mind, all of our minds are used to external stimulus. And yeah, I kind of fell back into the matrix, having escaped the matrix. So that's kind of what I went through. Now I want to talk about what's transpired, how things have changed for me since that experience. So in that state, when you drop that deep, you access much deeper levels of awareness and consciousness. And the best way I can explain what's happened to me now is that my perceptions changed, right? The way I perceive things is a little bit different. There's been a shift. So usually when I used to see the world, I would just see things and people and relationships and objects. I'd feel like I'm in this big wide world and I'm involved with these things and everything's like big and I'm just this small little person. I don't know if that makes sense. Whereas now with this shift in perception, I now see that there's something before everything in the world, right? Which sounds crazy, but there's something there prior to the objects, prior to the people, prior to the relationship. There's something else there, right? Which is what I'm more aware of. I'm more aware of that a split second before I see everything else, right? It's not like I only see this awareness, but I'm more aware of the awareness, right? I now see that everything is occurring, and this is why it's a mind fuck, because everything is occurring within the awareness, and it's not like it's just me in a big wide world. It's like the big wide world in some way is inside me. And another analogy I have for this is that it's like, imagine you just got a screen, a normal screen, a TV screen, and you've always been used to watching this TV screen, right? Just a normal screen. And that screen now has become panoramic. So it's like there's been some sort of expansion, right? It feels like I perceive more, right? It's hard to explain. I just feel more expanded. And I recognize there's something, like I said, there's a presence prior to reality, right? And it's that presence that is consciousness, right? That's the truth of who we are. It's always there. The problem is we overlook it. We overlook it because the conditioning we've received, right? The trauma, the negativity, that's what really blocks us from seeing it, right? It's the ego we develop, all the belief systems and all the conditioning that we think we're a small, limited person, that we overlook it. And it's actually too close to us. It's so weird because it's so obvious that we keep missing it. It's too close. It's like that famous quote you might have heard, hide the secrets of the universe where man will look last. The last place we'll look with is within ourselves, right? We think everything's out there. So you want us to hide the secrets of the universe, hide them within you. So everyone's got access to this, right? And this presence is everything I was talking about before. It cannot be diminished, right? It cannot be harmed. It cannot be rejected. It cannot fail. It cannot lose. It's just always there. It's accepting. It doesn't resist or fight anything. It's just being. And you've got to understand the implications of seeing this, of what this truly is, and then identifying with it. Because if you begin to identify with this presence that is all-encompassing and can't be harmed and can't be damaged and can't be rejected or diminished, think about how that will change you, right? All these limited patterns and programs you've got, you're afraid of being rejected, or you think you're afraid of failure or whatever, right? All of these fears that we have, they'll start to fall away as you begin to kind of as you begin to, let's say, become conditioned, even though it's not really conditioning, you're just finding your true self. As you begin to become your true self, all your limitations will fall away because that consciousness has no limits, right? Something that really blew my mind, I'll share it with you now. I can't even wrap my mind around it. But I realized this now. I'd heard it before, but I didn't fully understand it. I understood it on some level, but I didn't realize it. I realize this now I realize why the mind now cannot comprehend these things. So consciousness, this awareness that I now am more aware of, it's everywhere at all times at the same time. Past, present, future, in every single moment that ever existed. And it's all happening right now, okay? So think about that for a minute. What you are is happening every second. What you are is happening right now, forever. Everything that's ever happened is happening right now at the same time. And you're that. Right? Do you see what I mean? Why this bends your mind? Your mind cannot comprehend it. It breaks your mind, right? Try to think about that. Try to make sense of that. You cannot make sense of it. I'm quite a logical person. If you watch my videos, you'll see I'm a very logical person. This is just broke my mind. Just that realization. If you really contemplate what I've said there, that what you are is happening, or I can't even rephrase it. I've lost it. But what you are is everything that ever happened, everything that will ever happen, and it's all happening right now, okay? Like, it's madness, it's insanity. So that's kind of how things have shifted for me. Obviously, there's levels, there's layers, there's still a long way to go, depending on how far you want to take it. It requires courage, it does. Sometimes I can feel my ego coming back up and kind of not wanting me to go deeper. But that's where you got to realize that, you know what, the life I've lived so far, it hasn't given me what I want, right? It hasn't given me peace, hasn't given me happiness. Not if you want constant peace and happiness, right? And maybe you could argue that's more ego, but it's like, I think I'll know when I found what I'm looking for, right? I think all of us will. So, having failed, generally speaking, finding what I want in the world, I'm trying this approach. See what happens, right? Could say it's a gamble, but it is what it is. We make our own choices, we make our own decisions, and we've got to live by them as well. So it requires a lot of courage, right? Because a lot of people will think you're crazy. I don't actually share this information with anybody except through this channel, not even friends or family or anybody, right? It's very personal to me. I share it on here because I know the people who watch it will be seeking for this type of information, right? I won't be running into critics and skeptical people, and I'm not someone who's going to push this on other people who may or may not be interested in it. If you are interested in this sort of stuff, you'll find my channel, you watch my videos, right? So that is everything I've got to talk about in a video. That's what I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it maybe helped you on your own journey as well. If you have any questions, maybe you've had similar sort of experiences, maybe you've had much deeper awakenings than me, a lot of people have, I'd love to hear about that as well, so hit me up in the comments. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, if you could please go ahead, give a like, share, subscribe, really helps me out. Check out my book. If you haven't already, I'll put a link down below. But until next time, remember to keep living free and being free. Peace.